Welcome to the first ever Fortnite content creator Q&A, where we have multiple different creators from all over the Fortnite content space and come to ask me questions, whether it's just questions in general, or it's questions about Fortnite. Anything goes in this, guys. I am very excited for this video. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. Guys, let's get started. I'm excited for this. Our first question is from Cyan. As Tim Sweeney and Charlie Wen's biggest supporter and longtime fan, can you please give me your top 5 reasons as to why Donald Mustard should never return? Wow, Cyan, that is very interesting, because as you might know, like, I personally have been a big fan of Donald Mustard's story. While I do like Charlie Wen's story, I've been, honestly, I don't know if I would say a big fan of Charlie Wen, but I've really enjoyed the story that he's built up so far with Hope. I do have my criticisms for it. Like, I do want to make a video diving a little bit more into the ending with Doom, how I wasn't satisfied with that, but I think Hope has a lot of promise. I don't know if I want to give you any reasons as to why Donald Mustard shouldn't come back, because I personally would be really happy if Donald Mustard would come back. But hey, we all like different things. We're all fans of different people, Cyan. I know that you care about the storyline a lot. I hope the best for Charlie Wen's story with you. Let's continue on, guys. This is iTalk had this to ask. Hey, Clen, Chapter 5 has been by far my favorite chapter. I've loved pretty well every addition Epic brought to the game. How do you think they could possibly top that moving forward with Chapter 6? So, there were a lot of people who really did like Chapter 5, and I know that iTalk has been uploading nothing but positive videos throughout the entirety of Chapter 5. The bullet drop's great, the gameplay is great, everything about it not being OG is great. You know, iTalk is a Chapter 5 enjoyer. I personally haven't really been a Chapter 5 enjoyer. There has been a lot about the game that just didn't really hit home for me. There are a ton of things, though, that could actually top Chapter 5 moving into Chapter 6. They're starting off really well with the locker. I think they need to bring hit scan back. Something that I've been recently talking about. You know what, I'll talk about this because there are a ton of things that we could talk about going into Chapter 6. I think that the most important thing they need to do is learn from what mistakes that we've seen in Chapter 5, because now that OG's coming back, I'm very worried that they're going to continue with the Chapter 5 issues because we're, oh, well, if you don't like it, you're just going to have OG. That's a little bit worrying for me, but iTalk, thank you for the question. Let's continue on to the next question. We have Pokimane. Hi Kyle, I really love watching your streams. One thing that takes me out of it a little bit though is how much JoJoJosiah makes fun of me. Will you ever stream without him? Well, we do have many streams without JoJoJosiah, and while I do enjoy playing with him personally, I can understand that sometimes he might be a little bit much for you, but we have streams all of the time without JoJoJosiah. Jojo, I love you with all of my heart. I love having you in my party, but I do understand if you're interested in not watching those Pokemon, I get it. Let's keep rolling, guys. Let's keep rolling through this. We got to get through all of the questions. Clark Clint had this to say. Hi, Clenables. How do you think Epic can improve the train on the map moving forward with Chapter 6? I've always personally really hated trains, especially model trains, and I'm hoping that I have a reason to look at the next one and not hate its existence. Well, I don't understand the hate for model trains personally. I understand that you've had a little bit of a difficult experience with model trains. If you guys don't know, I'm not going to get into it, but Clark had a very intense accident years ago with model trains. But to be honest with you, I did really love the train on Chapter 5. Like, I love the concept of the train. I'd rather have a train on the map than not have a train on the map. But there was a lot that I was really looking forward to when it came to just trains on the Fortnite map in general. The way that they implemented it in Fortnite in Chapter 5, I don't think it could have gone worse, to be honest with you. I just have a couple carts moving around the map. Like, I'm sad that you couldn't go inside of it. I'm sad that it couldn't run people over. I'm sad that the train didn't pick up speed. There were a ton of things that you could actually do with train, like adding different carts that wasn't just platform and platform and platform and platform. I think that pretty well, if they update the train at all, then I think that the train would be good moving forward in Chapter 6. But I'm excited for Chapter 6, man. I cannot wait to see if the train stays in the map. I personally really hope it does, but I get it. I get if you don't like the train, Clark. All right, guys, let's keep going. Hi, Kyle. PBJ had this to say. Sorry. Hi, Kyle. As someone who never looks at their analytics on YouTube, how important are they to success on the platform? PBJ, there is a lot that you can learn from YouTube when you take a look at different analytics. Like, the biggest thing that I personally think is a really good tool, and a lot of YouTubers that really need to realize is, like, I mean, if you're coming up in the YouTube game, anybody who has had any sort of success in the YouTube space definitely looks at their analytics over here. But the average view duration for your videos, you can tell exactly at what point where people stopped watching your video. If they stopped watching, you can see like the actual dip. If they stopped watching at 45 seconds, you said or did something there, maybe there was an audio issue that drove people off to your video. But other than that, you can check to see how many impressions your thumbnails are getting, who's clicking on them, at what rate. There is a ton of really important features on the analytics page, and PBJ, I think that you should really start checking those at some point, especially like maybe within the first hour of your video to kind of get a gauge on how it's performing. There are like, again, you got to think about it. YouTube is your best friend. They want you to succeed. Looking at analytics could help you do so. PBJ, thank you for the question. Let's continue on. Oh my god. Ninja had something to say. Do you like to drive cars as a 26-year-old grown man? Actually, I mean, I wouldn't say that I like to drive cars, but I do like having the privilege of driving. I like that I can go where I want. I can do what I want to have my own car. I can go wherever I want, whether it's to pick up food, whether it's to take this beautiful little thing out. I can do whatever I want with a car. So I would say yes, I do like to drive cars as a 26-year-old grown man. Thank you, Ninja. Let's keep going, guys. Dagwummy had this to say. Hey, Clen, as someone who thinks that UEFN has been nothing but a major disaster, why do you think map makers should give up and focus more on perhaps Roblox? Now, if you're going to focus towards Roblox, it probably doesn't have the same future that Fortnite does, in my opinion. I do disagree with you in the sense that UEFN has been nothing but a disaster, like you said. I think that it's just in its infancy right now. There's already been some great things to come out of UEFN, and it's only going to get stronger as time goes on. You got to remember, the metaverse, UEFN, Fortnite creators, everything right now is in its infancy, and while I do disagree, I think there has been a ton of success so far. I think that it's only going to be up from here. If you're thinking about switching over to Roblox, I do not think you should do that one little bit. Oh my god, this next one, Loot Station, had something to say. Guys, we have a video coming out, Loot Station, very soon. I'm very excited for it. He had this to say. Hi, Clen. Do you think old super style should return? I think it'd be cool if Gold Peely from Chapter 2 Season 2 returned to the shop at a discount for a discounted price. Loot Station. Dude, more people need to think like Loot Station, man. Loot Station has in Chapter 2 Season 2, he spent so much time grinding to get that Gold Peely. The Gold Peely that nobody else has. I think that is a very cool trade of you, Loot Station. I think that's very big of you to take your Gold Peely skin and want people to not only just have it, but have it for a discounted price. I think that's really cool. Arguably the greatest OG player that we have over here, Loot Station. That is really cool, Loot Station. A lot of people probably really like what you had to say there. Sorry, I ended up giving myself the giggles a little bit because I had to record this one a few times. Okay. Okay. Let's continue on. Cypher PK had something to say. Hi, Clen. I heard about you from the Broke Boys. Can I ask you a private and personal question? I met this guy Clark at FNCS and absolutely hated him. Just wondering what you thought of him when you first met. Now, I think that's not a very nice thing to say because when I met Clark, the first time that I believe that we actually spoke, we've had messages before here and there, but I believe the first time that we actually spoke was the first time I went on Clark's podcast, and he was nothing but respectful, wonderful to be around. He was just a great guy in general, and I was talking to a few people that I haven't talked to before, and he did a really great job at making sure everybody was comfortable with each other. So I don't know how you could have possibly had that first impression from him, but I completely disagree. He has been nothing but nice since I actually met him, and now we are very good friends. So I really have an issue with what you said there, Cypher PK, because that has nothing to do with his character at all, and I think that you misread the situation. He was probably being really nice. Let's keep going, guys. Let's keep going. By the way, if you haven't already liked and subscribed to the video, comment down below what you think, guys. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate your time. So, ZeroBR had this to say. Hey, Clen, something I highly advocate for is for people to give up on things that they may not be motivated for. Discipline isn't necessary when you lack motivation. What are your thoughts on this? I don't think that you really need to wait for motivation to do things. I think discipline is probably the most important trait that you could possibly have because no matter what, you're going to do what you need to do regardless of how you feel. If you just wait for motivation, you're not going to be able to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish in a day, or not even just in a day, like ever, whether your timeline's a year, whether it's a day, whether it's a week. You do not need motivation if you have discipline, and discipline is very necessary for I guess an outlook on life, you could say. That is one of the most important traits that you could have because no matter what, you will be ahead of everybody. If you have discipline, you can accomplish what you want to accomplish no matter how you are feeling. You do not need to wait for motivation. Thank you so much for the question, Zero. Let's continue on to Rylick. Rylick had a question. Hey, Clen, why do you think so many people hate my favorite Fortnite season, Chapter 5, Season 3, Wrecked? Okay, now, I personally really enjoyed Chapter 5, Season 3, Wrecked, and Rylick, I know you did too. It's been a really great time playing around with those cars, but not everybody, and this is important to keep in mind, not everybody likes the chaotic play of the cars. Not everybody likes how overpowered things were. Not everybody liked when I want to say the core of Fortnite was really changed because the builds didn't really matter. Using the weapons didn't really matter, especially at the beginning of the seasons. Everybody was kind of forced to use the car in order to find some success. It was very difficult to find success in any other way that you'd want to play your game. So not a lot of people really like that, and they didn't like that it took away a lot of the skill aspect within just playing Fortnite. The better player didn't always necessarily win, so that's why a lot of people were turned off from Fortnite Wrecked, but I'm with you on that. I personally really enjoy the cars. I loved driving around. I loved blowing things up. I had a great time. And speaking of great times, we have a great guy, JoJoJosiah, who had this to say. Hey, Clen, what's your least favorite thing about Pokemon? Jojo, that's not cool. That is not cool. We already had a little bit of a talk about this earlier, and quite frankly, I'm tired of it. Man, if he's a broke boy, he should probably just say so. Let's continue on to the next question anyways. Donald Mustard actually piped up and had a question asked, which is really cool. I'm very honored to have Donald Mustard over here on the channel. Hi, Clen. I heard a lot about you. Must say, love the content. Thank you so much, Donald Mustard, by the way. I don't really have a question, but I did want to ask you about something. There's this weird guy, Cyan, who keeps talking about me. Why won't he fuck off? Wow. Wow, Donald Mustard. Wow. Cyan has been nothing but amazing and respectful in every single interaction that I've ever had from him. And if you guys are interested in hearing more about Cyan, because again, he is a great guy, and I have lots of proof on that too. 2 hours over, by the way, of just getting to know Cyan. You can check out 2 interviews with him right here. One where it's getting to know him as a person, and another one of his love for the Fortnite storyline. If you want to know more about Cyan and why he's so great, you should check out one of those videos. Thanks for being here, guys. I probably should have mentioned, in case you haven't figured it out, obviously, none of these creators actually asked any of these questions. I completely made them up, but thank you for coming, everybody.